My man Czar make tracks like this.
What's going on, y'all? So if you've been picking up the goodies that Presonus has been dropping, they recently gave away the vintage channel strips bundle for the Fat Channel away for free, and which gave you the vintage 3-band EQ, the tube mid-range EQ, the P1B, and the classic compressor. So those four included with the RC500, the VT1, compressor and EQ channel. We're really getting some versatility added to the Fat Channel, and the Fat Channel's been recently my favorite channel strip to mix with because I can get so much done with it. So really happy to see these added plugins come to the Fat Channel. So I'm going to give you an overview of the vintage channel strips bundles. So that comes with 2 compressors and 2 EQs. So first one we're looking at here is the Tube P1B. This is a obvious emulation of the Tube Tech CL1B, which is one of my favorite compressors. I have the soft tube version and use it a lot. So with this version, I'm just going to go over quickly go over the settings for it. You've got your makeup gain, your ratio, which goes from 2 to 1 to 10 to 1, threshold, which you can go to completely off on, attack, release, and you have an option to choose between manual attack and release, a mixture of the fixed and manual, and fixed. So I've got just a drum loop here that I quickly threw together. We're going to play it, and we're just going to go through some of these settings and just hear what the Tube P1B can do for the drum loop. And also the P1B is a opto compressor. So really interesting what the fixed does there on the kick drum, and with the fixed settings you've got an attack of 1 millisecond there. So that's the Tube P1B. Let's go over to the other compressor, which is the classic compressor, which is obviously based off of a Neve compressor. I'll be interested to use this on mix bus. Going over the controls for these, you've got your threshold, which is stepped, which is pretty nice. Makeup gain, which is also detinted and stepped. Recovery, which is your release, 100 milliseconds, 400 milliseconds, and up. You got some auto releases here, and your ratio 1.5 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, and 6 to 1. So this compressor is really popular on mix bus mastering. I have not had a chance to try it out there yet, but let's hear what it does on these drums. Okay, so let's move on to the EQ. And EQ section, we have the tube mid-range EQ. This is obviously the mid-range section of a Pultec EQ. And for the rest of EQ, you've got the passive EQ selection, gives you a Pultec style EQ here. Noticing with the Pultec, you have boost on the low end, boost on the high end. Not really any control over the mid-range here. You're missing out between 100 hertz and 3K. So that's where the mid section comes in. So with the mid, you've got a lot of different frequencies here in the mid range that you can cut. And you've got these are the frequencies you can boost starting at 200 hertz up to 1K. And 1.5K up to 5K that you can boost on the high mid range. So let's go over, let's see what this sounds like on these drums. There is the tube mid-range EQ. Not really an EQ I'd use a lot. Generally, I'm going with a Pultec. I'll boost that low end and high end. It's good you have the option here for it, but honestly, not EQ I reach for a lot. If I need to do something in the mid-range, I'm just really not looking at a Pultec style EQ. But last, let's go to the vintage 3-band EQ, which I've spent a little time with this, and I really like this EQ. You've got low and high shelves. It's my only gripe is that I feel like it's a little hard to read here. But you've got low, high shelf. Mid band is a Bell filter. You have the option for a sharper Q here, and you have a low pass filter here on the top end. To roll off highs if you want to. Really like what this low end frequency does here. So let's go through, we'll start the low end here. One thing I really like about this as well is that it forces you to use your ears. You don't see how many dB that you're boosting here. So this EQ really forces you to listen with your ears with what you're doing with the EQ. All right, let's check it out. So really nice high end and low end that you get there with this EQ. And also interestingly, you have a phase switch on here as well, which is nice because I feel all channel strips should have a phase button on them. So there's an overview of the vintage channel strips bundle. Like I said, if you were able to pick this up for free, if not, I believe the price for it is $249.95 for those 4 plugins. If you've been using this, comment, let me know what you think. Any questions, let me know, and I'll catch y'all next time.